As usual, I forgot to record anything. So now you can see the heater box is out, fuse box is out, the scuttle panel there, whatever you might call it, is gone. It's down now. Trying to save a bit of weight. We've got a black bag here full of bits and bobs, mostly wiring. All the heater stuff's there. And inside we've got dash is completely out. This is all because we need to remove the wiring loom, dash and everything to accommodate the new roll cage fitting. Once that's back in, it can all go back together. But while we're doing that, I thought I'd remove a load of wiring, and there's plenty of it. We've got rid of quite a lot, and it's going to save some weight because the roll cage is obviously going to be bigger than the last one, being that it's a fully welded in cage going out to the turrets. The last one was just 6-point bolting. Today I need to oh, here we go, some of the dashboard, bag of wires. You know, so far I've weighed it, we're looking at around 45-50 kilos already. Got to remove this bulkhead so they can get access to the rear there to get the cage in, so these have got to become unbolted. I'm probably going to remove the water injection, or at least relocate it. I need some new seat mounts put in as well, but yeah, we're getting there. It's all in bits, but yeah, so none of this is needed. We've got rid of quite a lot of the wiring. It needs a good tidy up, obviously, and the actual original dashboard's gone off now to be made into a fiberglass one to save a bit more weight. So here we go with a car as light as it's probably ever been. Doors off. Like I say, they're fronts were around 16, 17 kilos. Rears are around 12. That's going to save a lot of weight if we can get them made in something else. The bulkhead's out, but that's going to have to go back in for safety reasons, obviously, because the oil tank for the dry sump is in the back, and all this old crap that we put in years ago for some bad welding, which was probably me, I expect. Look at the state of that. That hopefully is probably going to come out. They might leave it, but we'll probably cut it out anyway, because the new cage will be a lot stronger anyway. Still plenty of wiring to sort out. Things like front fog lights wiring, and horn not wipers, because we're going to need them. Heating, all that sort of thing. So when the engine's out, we'll cut all this open, get rid of what we don't want, wrap it all back up. You know, things like that. It's not, you think, oh, it don't weigh a lot, but when you take it out and add it up, it is quite a lot. It all adds up. Holy moly! This is getting a little bit silly now. I've got more holes than metal, and it's still over 14 kilos. So, I don't know what else I can do, because I don't want the door to fold in half. So here we go, mostly stripped. Engine's coming out Monday. Obviously got to take the screen out as well. And then off to get the new cage in at Custom Cages. Right, so here we are at BMR. Engine out today. Then I can remove the rest of the loom and get the engine up to Joe. And I managed to cut out loads more loom, saving loads more extra weight. Well, a few kilos. Lovely grey day, but we're up at Custom Cages. The car's going in for a full FIA T45 cage, so I'm really looking forward to getting that back. They're going to send me some images of how they're getting on, and I'll stick them in the vid. So when it comes back, we'll weigh it as well, because I've had a lot of stuff out of the car, as you might have seen with the doors and the loom and stuff like that. If it comes back all back together, the same weight as it was with the old cage, I'll be happy with that. If it's any lighter, I'll be over the moon. So yeah, thank you to Custom Cages.
4 to 6 weeks later.
just like magic, it's back at Custom Cages for me to collect the fully fitted new Super Duper cage. Some lovely welding going on. When I get it back out the truck, we'll go through it a little bit more. But yeah, very excited to have it back. Trying to convince my mate Nigel it's a good idea for him to paint all the interior for me. I'll let you know how that gets on. Okay, so we've got to the point now where it's time to have a big clean up and do a bit of painting. I've cut out some very dodgy bits of supports and cage that was in the back there that I put in years ago. The welding was terrible and it was just at an extra weight. Now we've got some supports on the rear turrets, that box section there, going onto the rear turrets. Gave them a little blow over, so I'll give them another coat just to make them nice and matching to the rest of the paintwork. Paint all the cage, which I've now got to brush on, because you don't want to be spraying paint while I'm in my basement. And then sort all the floor out, because the floor is all scuffed up from obviously all the work that's gone on in there. So I'll show you some progress as we go. So one of the first things to do is clean up all the cage, because it's going to have, you know, grease on it. There's some remnants of some stickers, so you've got little bits of glue that are stuck on here. You get rid of all that and all the dust and grime. Just go for one at a time, I suppose. You can use thinners, brake cleaner. I've got these Wonder Wipes, so I'll go over that and maybe go over it with alcohol or something afterwards. See how I feel. Some of the tubing comes off clean as a whistle. Some of it comes off absolutely filthy, so it's well worth doing. There's any grease on there and the paint's not going to stay on for very long, is it? I'm probably doing this wrong, so any painters, leave a comment, tell me what I'm doing wrong. But by then it'll be too late. Right, sorry about the crazy hair. I've been painting with 2-pack with a brush all day. It is direct to metal paint, so before anyone says, oh, you can't do that, apparently that is the thing to do. So here's the colour of it. Quite a swanky blue. I've only done half of it so far. Like I said, it's getting a bit much. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's supposed to be the Caesar blue, but it's a bit lighter. But that's okay. I think it's a really nice colour against the white. So what do we think of the colour? I mean, I quite like it. It's slightly different to what I wanted, but I think it stands out pretty well. There's a few runs, as expected. A few drips where it shouldn't be, but I've got to patch up all the inside anyway. Where the cage went in, it scratched all the floor and stuff, and I've had to put in the bulkhead. So I've got to touch all that in anyway, so it should come out okay. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Okay, I think the cage is almost done. I'm bound to have missed a bit. And I think I'll just have to go around when it's dry and just if you can see any brush marks or any patches where it's not quite on heavy enough. Yeah, just check it out and see what happens there. Masked up the legs, stuff, so I can paint all the floor. I've just gone and collected the dash. I've got to now cut out pieces from here somewhere, so I have to line it up with the cage, cut those out. We'll see if I want to put the vents in and stuff. We need to remove all these pieces, and somehow I've got to get the clocks all fitted. I will need to take that out because there's a vent there that has the switches in for fog light, rain light, all that kind of thing. Yeah, let's see if I can get this to fit. So I need to mark up that edge there, and I think that's going to hit as well. So we're going to have to lose a bit out of there, so maybe on the other side I won't even be able to put the vents back in. I have to put my switches somewhere else. It's just laid in at the moment, just so I can have a little bit of a measure up from where it bolts, screws into here. And I can cut a notch out of it. Peter's come around with his brother and they've got a grinder on my lovely new dash. Try and
you do it to everyone else.
Try and fit it in this silly hole. There we go, look, like a glove. goes that way first,
In.
tilts backwards, and then goes. Don't scratch it too much.
Column.
He's getting a hole, man.
We're in the column.
Hold on. It went in a lot easier than last time. We've got the wrong angle there because we were on. Press it, go up, and come your way. There you go. Right, that squeeze around your end.
No, it's weird. I don't know what you did to make it go further this way, mate. Oh.
Lift up the middle. Lift, rotates. Oh no, it's stuck.
No, we're getting there.
Oh, fucking roll cage. I've spent 2 days painting it.
I suppose you should put this in first with the paint.
Close enough.
It's in.
Well, I'm in.
Well, it's in. We had to cut off more than I wanted to. It's quite tight in some places, but over there we got a bit too excited. Needs a little bit of adjusting to where it needs to be. Put a bracket there, and then start cutting some holes for the other dash bits. Today's little project, trying to get my aim dash fitted into the original, let's call it binnacle. This needs to go into that, which in turn sits on there. And then I've got a carbon sheet that I've cut to fill the hole. So let's have a look how this goes together. It fits quite snugly in there. I have to bond that in, I expect. And in turn, that sits. Oh, can't do this one-handed. There you go. That sits in there. That dash is bigger than that hole. So I'm gonna have to trim off the back of this so it actually sits up against it properly, because at the moment it's being held off. Let's get the top in, which I've I've just trimmed that off as a little bit of guesswork, and it seems to be almost there. So I'll get this to fit in there properly, and then when the dash goes in, I'm gonna have to trim the shape out of there for the bottom of this. I might lose my light sensor though, that is the only problem, so it's going to be dim all the time if it thinks it's dark. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right, I've got a choice now. If that fits there, I can nibble a little bit of this off, so this will sit flat, because at the moment it's miles out. Or I can push it up further, take less of this out, it needs to come out still, and then nibble a bit of this section out so I can see the lights. It all depends on where I am in the car. It's a bit difficult to see when you're not in the car. Ideally it'll go up a little bit further so I can see more of the screen. Actually that's probably all right there. I'll mark out these bits and see if I can get it flat. That took a little longer than expected, but it's gone in okay. It took a little bit longer because it's my wife's 40th birthday, and yeah, I shouldn't really be doing this, but hey ho, got plenty of time to celebrate. Yeah, so we're going to have another, we'll cut all this out. We're going to place a panel in there of an offcut of carbon, boink, make sure the grain goes the same way. Yeah, is that it? No. That way, no. That way, there we go, that way. That can go inside there, and I'm going to have cowl switches, ALS there. That is for battery light and handbrake light, because yeah, they got left on before. But yeah, happy with that. Just got to mark it up, screw it in, bond it all in, and get the wiring done. Oh, switches have got to go in, blah, 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 blah. Starting to take a bit more shape. Got our cowl settings, which is calibration for the ECU, as in more power, baby. I don't know if that's copyrighted. More power, baby! And then we've got anti-lag, switch that on, and different stages of anti-lag depending on circumstances. And the dash is now going off to flocking. I think I've cut out all the bits I need to cut out. Obviously we've got switches going in there for rain light and heat screen, all that sort of thing. I still need to put in a fuel gauge somewhere, unless I can get it working on the screen. But I've still got to speak to AIM about that. These are just plonked in place for now, but they will get bonded in when I get it back. I've even put a little vent back in the hole. Another job I wanted to do is remove the battery tray, just simply because it's not doing anything, it's just adding extra weight. So Pete said, that's easy. You just find the spot welds, drill them out, Bob's your uncle. Yeah, well, I couldn't find a lot of them, so I made a bit of a mess. But it's out anyway. So I worked out where these ones were. Worked out where that one was. I went through that a bit much and made a hole. I worked out where these ones were and some of those, but this one was a nightmare. But it's come out in the end. So big old lump of metal, don't need that. So I have to weld up a few holes and grind down some of those spot welds, clean it up and stick a bit of paint on it. But I mean, it could have been worse. I could have got a grinder out and made a right mess. Okay, we had a couple of deliveries today. These are all the parts I need for electronic power steering pump. So they will connect into this. I've got a Teflon hose. I'm just waiting on a cooler because there's not a lot of pipe run there, so it's gonna probably get a little bit warm. So I've got a cooler on the way, and I've got an unboxing to do. Exciting unboxing. Lots of cracking up. Oh, and here we go. Yes, new front housing. So the reason I've got a new compressor housing is because with my one, because I've run a restrictor, they've had to machine out the anti-surge port here, which is causing a lot of surging issues. They can be mapped out, but it's not the best way. So this should cure those problems. Until I need to run a restrictor, I can put this on and then just replace it with the other one if I need to. Okay, so I think I found a place for the power steering pump to go. The only issue is that I'll have to insert a photo, is the clearance from the plenum. That I'm going to change to a banjo, so it's a bit closer, because I think that's going to hit. I've only got a photo because I've got the engine in. And also found a place for the cooler. It goes on the back of the oil cooler, which is fed through there, goes down, back of the oil cooler. So that's got plenty of clearance there. So that should help keep things cool. Yeah, it's just a matter of the clearance. Today I'm just going to touch up the cage, because I noticed there's a few runs and stuff. I can just take those down. There's a few brush marks and things where it hasn't quite covered very well. So it's a sunny day, so I'm going to push it out and get some sunlight on it so I can see exactly what I need to do and just touch up the bits that are a bit crappy, because they're bound to be noticed by my friends. Now I've got the car out in the sunshine, I can see a bit more. I've noticed there was quite a lot of brush marks that weren't actually covering very well, so I've just dropped it down a little bit. And obviously the bits in the back I can't get to when the window's in, will be very difficult. But yeah, it's just a matter of rub it down a little bit, just so I can get to these little bits that didn't quite cover. Yeah, just touch it up a little bit, and then that's done. That's a big lump there that I had to rub down. So the floor's looking a bit better. It does need some welding here and there, but I'll probably do that from underneath when we get it to Martin's. I'll put a bit of primer on the floor here, stop it chipping hopefully. Might need another coat actually. Looks different through the camera. I need to do the top of the tunnel as well, but with all the hoses running through I can only do a little bit at a time. Cleaned up under there as well, gave that a touch of primer so I can clean that up, and then I'll get some sort of plate put over the holes there, or I might be running some bits through there, I'm not sure yet. Oh, and there we go. that'll do. It's only a race car after all. I'm not going to polish it. Just looks a bit tidier now. So next thing, put the loom back in, I suppose. One thing I did need to do regarding the wiring is that when they put the cage in, they go through the hole where the wiring loom would normally go through. So I've had to drill another one, 65mm. So it's quite a big old hole. Hopefully all the loom's going to reach. It's only a few inches away. So yeah, it's just a bit daunting drilling massive holes in the bulkhead, but I'm sure it'll be okay. And today's little job, a little bit of 1mm alley plate covering the holes. So we'll get them primed up, clean all that nastiness out of there and get all that painted around the cage, which is going to be interesting. It's going to go everywhere. There we go, a bit of primer. Might as well clean this up while I'm here. I didn't think about that before, but yeah, that's only like 10mm bolts, 5-6 bolts. So whip that out, give that a good clean up, degrease, and just paint the whole lot, might as well. It's also occurred to me that this, if I wiggle it enough, I'll break the welds and it saves a little bit more weight. So I'll give this a good going and eventually it's going to come off. Eventually.
Much later.
Eventually. A bit of metal fatigue going on. Here we go. Oh, there you go. Lovely. There we go, much better. Plenty of overspray in the basement. High as a kite. But yeah, let that dry, put a bit of colour on it. Can we see that? Yeah, it's a lot better. It's occurred to me as well, watching some of this back, that there's a lot of video and not a lot really going on. So I'll wrap this one up and I'll start a new one for the rewiring and stuff like that and the dash install, because this has gone on far too long and everyone's probably a bit bored. Is that much better? Much better. Look better with an engine in. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up now, and in the next video I'm going to start putting the wiring in. The dashboard depends if it's back or not, but I'll get the loom in and stuff and go through what's happening with the engine, because as the engine sits it looks a bit like this, which is not ideal, but it's all going well. Everything's in good nick, the crank's perfect, so we're going to give it a little bit of a polish. I'll say Joe is going to give it a little bit of polish. And so yeah, great, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.